Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. On this channel, we discuss day-to-day problems people face in their lives. Let's start with the video. Around the time my sister got married, I had a lot going on. I was divorcing, had 2 kids under 2, and me attending her wedding would require an overnight trip, which I was prepared to do until I found out less than a week to go that I was child-free. I called her and I said I couldn't make it. She didn't take it well. We both said things we shouldn't have said, and we both apologized, but when we made up, she asked if I could come to the wedding now, and I said no, as the circumstances hadn't changed, at which point the argument started up all over again. The day of the wedding, she sent me a series of messages about how she wanted me there and she needed some time before we talk next, so I needed to wait for her to contact me. That was 3 years ago, and we still haven't spoken. I got engaged 2 months ago, and we told my family about a month ago. One of my parents told my sister who contacted me, and I ignored her because in the last 3 years I've moved on. I'm happy she had her wedding her way, but she knew it would cause issues for me, which is why she only told me last minute. She said some things about my kids and me that I can never forgive. And if not for me getting engaged, she might have never reached out to me again, as it's been nearly 3 years, so clearly my ongoing presence in her life is not a big deal to her. I've explained my feelings to my family, but they want me to meet with her, hear her out, and invite her to the wedding. I asked what happens if I don't do that, and their responses have ranged from being mildly put out to not going in solidarity. I've asked where this response was when I couldn't go to her wedding, and they've said it's different because I had an invitation while she didn't. I didn't want to get into a debate about me attending her wedding or her coming to mine. I just want some advice on how to address this whole issue with my family in regards to them choosing sides, as I would like to tell them to be at my wedding, but I'm still not inviting my sister. Don't get sucked into the fight. Try to neutrally explain your reasoning again and then kindly say you'd love for them to be there and will be sad if they don't, but you are not going to invite your sister. Don't explain as if you're justifying. Explain as if you are maintaining a boundary but are still hopeful they will attend, and make it clear you want them there. I learned this in therapy, where my therapist was explaining the difference in assertiveness and aggression. Assertiveness is the ability to say the same thing over and over again without changing your tone or goal. For example, at the time, I had stopped talking to my mom because I needed to process some things from my past I never processed before. I went radio silent and she started to freak out, blowing up my phone. I told her, "I'm sorry, I'm busy with uni. I can't talk much. I'll talk to you later." But she wouldn't have it and blew it up even more. I told my therapist I went silent again because I was afraid, since she didn't accept what I want. He told me just to say the same thing again. So when she responds, "No, you need to talk to me. I'm your mother. What do you think you're doing?" Just say again, "Mom, I'm busy with uni. I can't talk right now, but I will talk to you soon." So in this situation, it's the same thing. If they say, "No, but you can't do that. It's horrible. It's hurtful. She's your sister." You just say, "Due to ongoing personal reasons, I'm not going to invite my sister, but I would love for all of you to come because it would mean a lot to me." How can you say that? How can you just ignore the fact she's your sister? She invited you even though you couldn't make it. Due to personal reasons, I'm not going to invite my sister, but I still want you all to be there. At least she had an invitation. You won't even invite her. I'm not going to invite my sister due to reasons between me and her, but I'd still love for you to be there. If she isn't going, I'm not going. It would mean a lot for me if you were going to my wedding, but due to personal reasons, I'm not going to invite my sister. This is between me and her. And if they continue after that, it's, "I'm going to stop talking now. Please consider what I've said." End of. I would only add, if they continue to threaten to not come, tell them they need to let you know by X date so that you can update the RSVP and seating arrangements. Lastly, be prepared for a family member to use their +1 to bring her or have her somehow crash the wedding. If you have security, give them pictures of her in order to keep her out. If no security is available, have 3 or 4 people ready for the task. If they have to take action, you should not have to find out till the next day. Good luck. I'm sure some of you won't agree, but I wouldn't bat an eye at someone saying they wouldn't go in solidarity. If something that silly will prevent them from showing up to my wedding, it's probably best that they do not come. I want people that are supportive at my wedding. Might as well put my efforts and attention into those that deserve it. If they wouldn't attend your wedding just because you won't do what they're demanding of you, then do you really want them there or in your life at all? If you do what they want just to have them at your wedding, they will know they can demand other things of you anytime they want, and they will do so. If you want your sister at your wedding, or if you want to hear what she has to say, then meet up with her, but don't let other people push you into it if it isn't what you want. I do want them in my life as they're my family and I love them and my kids love them, but if having them in my life means having my sister, I would need to think that one over. I don't want my sister there. I don't want to talk to her at all. My other sisters are fine, as are my brothers and most of my family, but I do not want my sister in attendance. Sounds like your sister had 3 years to have this conversation, so I'm not sure why it's suddenly so important. She forced you to leave the ball in her court and then she dropped it. I'm not sure why she thought this would go well. If you don't want to talk to her or invite her, don't, and tell anyone who tries to guilt you into doing differently to pound sand. I'm sorry, but you found a week prior to the wedding that it was child-free. That makes no sense. That literally would have given you no time to plan for childcare. A wedding takes time to plan, and I'm sure you weren't the only one with the children attending. So everyone with kids had a week's notice to figure childcare. I knew some people had kids they couldn't bring, as it was during school hours, and about a month before the wedding, my sister told me about her husband's cousin who had multiple older children she wanted to bring and was refused. But my sister said that because she was the husband's cousin and they were old enough to take care of themselves and my babies were fine to come. Then, with less than a week to go, she told me I couldn't bring my kids. I live near several people I could have asked to babysit, such as kids' grandparents who are my ex-in-laws, so my sister assumed I could work something out with them on short notice, but I refused as I didn't want them babysitting the kids, which she knew. She thought that if she told me in advance that it would be totally child-free, I wouldn't have come. Next story. I don't know where he gets this idea, as I've never cheated on him and never would. He always disguises it like he's kidding around. I can't tell you how many dozens of times I've heard him say when he'd come home early from work without any warning, like he's trying to catch me doing something, and say, "Did you get the pool boy out before I got home?" Or if I go for a walk, because he doesn't like to go for walks, and get the comment, "Oh, you just want to be alone so you can talk to your boyfriend." We installed the Ring camera on the front porch and the driveway and the backyard in the past couple of years, and nobody could sneak in. Of course, he tells me that it's under my email so I can go in and delete any video I want, whereas he can't do that. I leave my phone out in full view of him all the time. I purposely left it on the coffee table unlocked a few months ago when I went to the store just to show him, "Hey, here's my phone." I'm not using the store run as an excuse to talk to my secret boyfriend. There's nothing I'm trying to keep from you. I get home 20 minutes later and my phone is now lying face down on the table and not face up as I left it. I punch in my code and see all these pages up that I never open. He was going through my emails and apps trying to find some evidence of whatever. He never said anything to me and I never said anything to him. A few weeks ago, I was out of town visiting my mom. I woke up at 1:30 in the morning, 11:30 p.m. where he was, and looked at his last Facebook message to me. Instead of hitting the back button, I accidentally hit the thumbs up button. He immediately gets back to me with, "Oh yeah?" I said, "Oops, I didn't mean to hit that button," lying here wide awake. Thinking nothing more of it, he then says, "Probably mixed conversation." That concerned me and I said, "No, just talking to you," to which he replied, "I'm sure." He then says, "You weren't responding to someone?" I said, "No." I said, "I was looking at your message to me and accidentally hit the wrong button." He said, "Yeah, at 1:30 a.m. I was getting upset and he said, "Why would you think I'd be talking to someone at this time in the morning?" He says, "Not sure, sorry." Then he says, "I love you." That really rattled me that he automatically assumed I was talking to someone when I hit that button. A few nights ago, I showed him an email message on my phone. He took my phone, looked at the message, then backed out of the message and started scrolling through my inbox, seeing who I had emails from. I know he was trying to find something incriminating, but he disguised it as, "I'm kind of drunk and not sure why I'm looking at all these." Then a little bit later, I was looking at Facebook and then he happened to back out of the pictures I was looking at when he sat down. Anytime I back out of something or click off a page, he walks in the room. He automatically thinks it's because I'm doing something shady. He says now, pretty damn drunk. What were all those pictures you were looking at? Show me. I back out and say, these pictures of my friend and I at the show we went to. He goes, no, that wasn't it. Come on. Why won't you show me what you were really looking at? This is so draining. I overthink everything I do. If I pick up my phone when he leaves the room and he comes back and I put it down, he gets suspicious. I constantly feel like I have to show him proof that I went somewhere with a friend and not some random guy. Here's the pics from earlier. I'm going to the grocery store, not trying to get out of the house to talk to someone. I barely go anywhere as it is since I feel guilty about it before I even leave the house. And the thing is, he'll go on some days about how much he loves me and I'm the love of his life and we have such a happy home 24 hours later, jokingly accusing me of some secret relationship. In my experience, that whenever an individual is accused of something, no matter what it is, out of the blue, and it seems completely preposterous, then most likely the person that is accusing the individual has a guilty conscience. I could be completely wrong, but as I said, this was my experience. I grew up in an environment that was awful without any support, and the result was that I became an adult incapable of trust until significant therapy while single and not mingling. I truly feel terrible about being the insecure boyfriend now, but I can say that I never cheated and never really got close to doing it either. It's not always so simple. Many men have no shoulder to lean on for their whole lives and grow up like this. Original poster, I just got out of a relationship like this. I'm going to give it to you straight and save you as much pain and suffering as possible. There is nothing you will be able to do to gain his trust. You can literally be the perfect wife and it still won't be enough. If he wants to find something incriminating, he will find something incriminating, then amplify it to vilify you as much as possible. I dated a woman who would give me a hickey and the next morning accused me of getting said hickey from another woman. Whether he's cheating or not is moot because he will never own up to it or blame you for it. You need to give him an ultimatum to either trust you fully or you're walking. Next story. My fiance and I are getting married in 2 months, legal here. I want my stepdad to walk me down the aisle. Having both him and my father is a compromise I'm happy with. But if I had to choose, it would honestly be my stepdad. To explain this, my parents split up while my mom was pregnant with me. My stepdad started dating mom when I was around 1 and officially met me a few months in. Since then, he's been an amazing stepdad. He's always there for me, always willing to help me, and treats me and my siblings the same as his biological son. We've always gotten along super well, and his support helped me through school a lot. Mom was honestly pretty terrible. All 3 of my siblings, biological and step, agree on that. She only ever cared about work and never made time for us, would never sacrifice her extra overtime or, God forbid, her day off to see any of our events or help if we were sick. So stepdad ended up doing it all basically. Don't know how, but he managed to have enough time for us all and tried his best to be the best dad he could be to us. While my biological siblings are closer to my father, they both love stepdad and think he's amazing too. For me, fathering is complicated. He's not bad. He provided what we needed and a lot of what we want. He does love me and kind of tries to be there for me, but we have no connection at all. He's close with my biological brother and sister, but with me, there's nothing. As long as I can remember, we've been at best civil. We're just very different people with opposite interests really, so just never really clicked, I guess. Still, it kind of hurt how interested he was in them while not seeming to care about me. Though I was a brat about it, I'll admit, which did not help. By the time I was 11, we both gave up on getting closer, really. We only talk on special occasions like birthdays and Christmas currently. So while he's not a bad father per se, I've never really gotten to connect and be close with him. I love him as a father, but I don't really admire him or feel pride or connection or anything like I do with my stepdad. And father feels the same to me, and he has admitted. I'm his least favorite, not hated. He does love me, child. So it's my stepdad I want to walk me down the aisle. My sister pointed out to me that that was probably a bad idea and it would hurt my father. But I love my stepdad more, even if it's wrong or whatever. Right now, I'm happy to settle for having both walk me. But father vetoed it. Father respects my stepdad and he appreciates that I have him in my life, but he thinks it's inappropriate because he raised me, gave birth to me, etc. My stepdad said he's happy to go along with whatever I want, that he won't be hurt if I just have my father. But it would be wrong to not have him. While father did give birth to me, I definitely would say that stepdad raised me more than him him or mom. I wouldn't be who I am with him, but with father, there's nothing. I cannot remember a single time father told me he loved me or was proud of me or really any compliment. My biological siblings are fine with it somehow. They do love stepdad, but they definitely love father more. But I don't know. I get he's not the kind of person, but to not say anything, maybe I'm just more emotional than them, but I don't like it. Right now, I just kind of want to tell father that if he doesn't want to share, then he won't walk me at all. But my sister thinks father is right. Sister is my go-to confidant and I trust her advice, but she is a little more biased on this, I think. My fiance has basically said he'll support whatever I want. He's assured me that he'll make sure no one makes a scene whatever happens, but I doubt he'll be able to change that. What should I do? I don't want to hurt my father, but I genuinely feel it would be wrong to not include my stepdad. Should I stick with my guns, or is there a better compromise? Or is father right, I suppose? Or am I just blind here? I would stick with your guns. Your father doesn't have veto power here. This is your choice. That you've offered to share is already a generous occasion. He can take it or leave it. This date is not about his ego. That's how I see it, but I've been worried. While I want to, I don't want to just lose father. I do love him. Still, right now, I'm leaning towards that. There's no winning here. You proposed a reasonable compromise for everyone's sake, and biological dad gets his feelings hurt. And guess who gets the blame? You. Who is your real dad in the sense of the person who raised you or was there for you? It's stepdad. He's the one who should walk you, and if biological dad won't participate, then he gets to watch from the audience. However, this is probably going to produce some hard feelings. You might consider no one walking you sucks for sure, but weddings are always a compromise, and you do want it to be a happy occasion. In any case, it's your call, not anyone else's. All of this I agree with. I don't want to hurt my father's feelings, but I don't think I could just not have my stepdad involved. It's comforting you and everyone else isn't just thinking I'm some bad daughter. I was worried I was really doing father wrong. Here's the thing. This is your wedding and you're doing your best to be inclusive. This isn't about what your sister wants or the rest of your family. It's about what you want. I'd sit your dad down and remind him of this and remind him that both he and your stepfather are very important to you and you want them both. If he can't accept that, then he won't be walking. It would be a shame if he held off because of that, but I wouldn't waver on this one. I know it's my wedding, but still, I don't want to lose my father, and my sister and father said it's wrong. So I've been doubting myself, especially since my stepdad said he'll support me whatever instead of what he thinks. So far, I want to go with your advice though. I'm glad it's not some crappy move like I've been worrying.